family members or maybe friends, neighbors, I don't know, some way by which you immerse yourself and your child in some kind of a social setup. And if not that, maybe or and also exposing yourself or maybe immersing yourself in the nature, maybe next to a beach, in the water, river, waterfall, I don't know where, but you're like out on the sand, your feet on on the soil, but and maybe not just yours, but even your child's, where you're getting that exposure, you're getting that environment where is your child is feeling that, oh, today is a different day, it's a nice day. And also, once you've decided on all of it, it's a day to work on planning the goals for the whole of next week. Do I have my 3 goals made? Are my goals, do I have complete clarity on what I want for this week? And again, I've already mentioned this, but I'm going to say this again because there are some of you who are new. If you don't know what I'm talking about goals, go to masterclasses, go to 2024 Emotional Wellness Series. In that, I want you to go to number 4, lecture number 4, busy versus constructive. I want you to go to lecture number 5, tapping from busyness to being constructive. Number 8, time management and goal setting. Number 9, time management and goal setting. Number 10, time management and goal setting. So trying to become more aware of what are your goals. Maybe just pick up one of them today. Just one. Even another thing is, if you go to 2025 Emotional Wellness Series, go to lecture number 3, daily, weekly, and monthly rhythms and goal setting. So I want you to go through this and have those goals for yourself. Maybe just go through any one of these lectures. So one is where you're doing something really different, and 2 is where you are different as in you're giving that social, emotional diet to yourself and to your child. Social, where you're with friends, emotional, where you're with friends and out in the nature and working on your goals. Maybe picking up any one of these and deciding your goals if you don't have clarity. Starting there. I had this question when one parent, she told me that her husband, so her husband, when I do the sessions, he's there, he's present, he's trying to be a part of the session, he's trying to understand what needs to be done. And the reason I'm saying he's trying to is because I thought he was participating, but he was not participating in the providing of sensory diet and doing the therapy at home or taking child to a park. That was not really happening much, or it happened for a few days and then it stopped. Then there was a big pause, again it would start, again it would stop. And the relationship that they shared between the husband and wife was more of not argumenting, what a word, but arguing with each other on that you're not helping me. And when that started, dad would pick up his phone and pretend to work or pretend to play a game or pretend to do some kind of shopping, because that was his way of avoiding the conversation, avoiding the conflict. But deep down, he wanted to help out. So I don't know if you can relate to this. And there was this person, So I don't know if you're aware, but I am an advanced EFT practitioner. I'm an NLP practitioner. I'm also an inner child healing practitioner. And I did a lot of work with husbands and wives of, so these are parents who came to me, whose kids were doing therapy with me. And I did a lot of work there because there was a lot of covert energy or aggression, I would say covert aggression or overt aggression, which means they were shouting, screaming, hitting, or they would not talk and wall each other for many days. So that was the kind of thing that was happening. And I have a few pointers that I just wanted to share. If you feel stuck in this, if you're not into it, no problem. You may realize that there are a few things that you're already doing, with yourself in your relationship, which you should continue to keep doing, which is again amazing. So it's like a check-in point, not just for you but for me too. And it's not about a husband-wife relationship alone. It's a relationship that you have with your child. It's a relationship that you have with your mom, with the caregiver, with anybody. What is the kind of relationship that you have? Who are you choosing? There are these patterns in relationship, which are very important. And who are you choosing to be in that relationship is the point. So uh, there are these 5 archetypes of relationships, 5 patterns of relationships. Okay, and I want you to identify, where do you fit, when you are in a relationship with your husband, with your child. Like, my child now is like 16, almost 16, and so he's not yet 16, he will be 16. And my relationship with him is not like a mother child relationship anymore. So I'm going to tell you the 5 things so you get an idea about what I'm talking. So the first kind of relationship that generally shows up is that of a caregiver, which means you're always trying to take care of your child, you're always trying to fix something. And now, is that the role that you're if that's the role that you're doing with a child who's 3 years old, okay. But if you're doing that with a child who's 8 years old, if you're trying to be the caregiver for your husband, for your mother-in-law, for your mother, then is that the relationship pattern that you would want to have? That was number 1. The second type of pattern is called the alpha pattern. Alpha pattern meaning you are the decision maker. You decide everything for everyone, for your child, for your husband, for the house, for everything, you know, and you create the rules for the relationship. That's the second pattern. So the first pattern that I told you is the caregiver. Second is where you are the alpha. The third type is that is of a parent, you know, pattern. So the first pattern that I told you is the caregiver, your husband, for the house. It was number 1. The second type of pattern is called the alpha pattern. Alpha pattern meaning you are the decision maker. You decide everything for everyone, for your child, for your husband, for the house, for everything, you know, and you create the rules for the relationship. That's the second pattern. So the first pattern that I told you is the caregiver. Second is where you are the alpha. The third type is that is of a parent, you know. When you say parent, meaning you're parenting, you're constantly, and again, when you're being a parent, which means you're actually parenting your husband also, or your husband is parenting you, where you're telling your, like how you would tell your child, do this, do this, do this, do this, you're doing that with your husband. So that is the third pattern. So it's important, what is the pattern that you have, and if it's a parent kind of a thing, if it's a caregiver kind of a thing, is the other person comfortable? If you are an alpha, is the other person comfortable that you taking decisions for the child? Sometimes, at least for my child, he does not want me to take decisions. I know a lot of kids, younger kids, they say, Mama, don't decide, Papa, don't decide, I decide, I decide. Or they say their names, something like, I think of the name Kabir. Kabir will decide. Kabir will decide. You don't decide. So that means the child does not want you to be the parent or the alpha or the caregiver. They want to take up the role of alpha, and these roles keep they're very dynamic. You know what I mean? In this moment, so if I'm cooking something, for example, if I'm cooking something, my mother-in-law who's teaching me something in a Maharashtrian cuisine, she can become the alpha, and I would, okay, I'll follow whatever that she's saying. But when I'm doing something with respect to a massage or an exercise, then she takes up the role where I become the alpha and she listens to me. So the roles are very dynamic, but it's very important to bring in that mindfulness about which is the pattern that you are exhibiting in this relationship. So the third is the parent. The fourth one is codependent. Codependent is you lose your individuality to become this one unit. You become kind of one with the other person. So with my husband, it's that way. He has a role, I have my role, but when we are together, we are taking decisions together. We give up our individual identities to create a new one where we are codependent. We're dependent on each other. So that's the fourth kind. So when I heard this word codependent, the person that came to my mind was my husband. When I think of my role as a parent, then I see that I am parenting my mom now. Okay, where I am giving her things to do which she used to tell me to do. So, I just want you to become aware of what is your archetype in your relationship with your child, with your husband, with people at home. And do they really want that kind of an archetype? And if not, how can you become aware of it and consciously work towards allowing the other person also to take that decision? Yeah. So the first one is rather caregiver. The second is alpha. The third is the parent. Fourth is codependent. And the fifth one is push pull. When I say push pull, this is also the kind of a relationship which is more, there's a lot of conflict. There's a lot of, what you call, there's a lot of fights happening in the relationship. There's a lot of very volatile, constantly breaking up. And it could be, as I said, covert aggression, overt aggression. Covert is, where you stop talking to each other. I know a lot of families who come to me where they say, I'm not talking to the dad, it's been 2 months and I don't want to involve him while I'm working with my child. Enough is enough kinds, that way. So that is one approach. Or it could be where, they're constantly arguing in front of me. And if they argue in front of me, I can really imagine what they must be doing when there's no one else around. I know of a lot of parents who tell me that they came to a point where they were about to slap each other. The amount of frustration that goes beyond. So I don't know, I'm just sharing all of it because I want you to identify which pattern are you falling into. Is it a push pull? Is it a codependent? Is it an alpha? Is it the parent? Is it the caregiver? What is it that you are getting into? Hmm? My mom demands that I become the parent now in the relationship. She wants that, and I'm happy to do that. With my son, he wants to be the alpha sometimes. I want to be the alpha sometimes, and I'm okay with that. When parents come to me and they are interacting with me, sometimes they want to be the alpha. They want to show that, see, I know everything, I've been doing everything, and I'm okay with that. And then I take up the role of being an alpha. So it's like codependent kinds. So but if I think of parent, you should do this, okay, you should do that, you do that. I don't want that kind of a relationship when parents come to me. So it's about becoming and bringing in that mindfulness in the relationship and changing the archetypal pattern so that the relationship becomes more there's more harmony in the relationship. There's this person called Gay Hendricks. I like him a lot. He has a book called The Big Leap. Amazing book. I would really recommend. And he says there are two main reasons why people have problems with relationships, simply because not reasons, I would say, but he says most of the energy in troubled relationships is drained through power struggles. Everybody wants to show who is right and who is the biggest victim. So I want you to become aware, are you trying to get into that pattern? For me, I fall into both. I used to, not now, but I used to fall into these patterns where I wanted to show to the other person that, see, I'm doing more. See, I'm doing more. See, I am having problems. See, you are just taking. So I'm trying to become the bigger victim. I was also trying to be that I know I did this for my child. I did that for my child. You did not do anything. I used to do all of it. And I realized, no, Reena, that's not what it is. We were doing it together. So it's about awareness. It's about that mindfulness, that am I slipping into who's right? Am I slipping into who's the bigger victim here? And if I want this relationship to get better, one is identifying which is the archetypal pattern that I am in and what is it that the other person wants. Most of the times when parents tell me that my kid wants to do everything his way because he wants to be the alpha, and here there is a clash between two alpha. I also want my child to do things my way, and my child wants to do things his way, and we are just having a conflict. We are just trying to prove to each other, to our kids, that, see, I know things better than you. And is that going to bring in harmony in the relationship? So when I brought these archetypal patterns and I spoke to these parents who came to me, they became aware. And I think after 2 months, I did not do anything. I just gave this information, but they implemented on it. They became aware of what is the pattern that they are bringing to the surface, and they became aware of those patterns. You know, they became aware if they were like really fighting for, I am doing more, I am right, I am the bigger victim, and they did let go of those patterns. Literally, they did let go of that pattern. The other thing that I have is that there are uh, what you call, if you don't have that time, if you don't have enough time for yourself, okay, we all, like, if I have, I still remember when my child was very little and I had to be with him at all times. And there used to be a time when I really craved for that time for myself. I was like, enough, he's always touching me, always on me, and I needed some time to be alone. So all of us have this urge to merge and the urge to be an autonomous person. So to be with others and to also be alone. So it's important if you can consciously create that time where you can recharge yourself, where you are actually honoring that urge to be an independent person, you know, learning to take that time off from the relationship. Because if you don't take that time off consciously, either there would be an argument with your child, and then you would be quite, it's like what you call emotional wall that creates. Okay, then I'll not talk to you. Okay, then mama's not there for you, or their papa's not there for you. That's a way to take time out for yourself. Why not become conscious and take that time out in a healthy way rather than in this manner? You get my point, right? What I'm trying to tell you. So these were some few things that came to my mind, and I thought I should share it with you. I don't know if it is helpful in any way, and if it gives rise to insights within you where you become aware ki, oh yeah, I think I'm always being the parent even with my mother-in-law, and that's why she's not liking it. Oh, in my role with my mom, so in my role, if I talk about personally with my mom, she wants me to be the parent, and in my role with my mother-in-law wants to be the alpha. And for me to switch gears, oh, she wants to be the alpha, Reena, listen to her. Oh, she wants me to parent. Okay, listen to her. That switching of gears helps you to have that harmony in the relationship. With my son, he wants to be the alpha. He wants to be the caregiver these days to me. I don't want that care, and I bring it, express it to him that, we can be codependent. We can be, we can be we can flexibly move between those two roles. And this kind of mindfulness really helps. It really helps how you show up, and it kind of gives you a pausing in some scenarios where it's like, okay, I'm becoming an alpha here. I don't think this is the pattern that's serving this relationship in this moment. So it's just about these few insights where I wanted to bring to your awareness. Because when you're caring for your child, imagine, I mean, I'm just sharing here, now being vulnerable here. When I used to fight with my husband, which we all do, and if I've fought with my husband and argued, trying to show that I'm the bigger victim, I am always right, which I used to do, and I'm not proud of it, but I used to do. He used to do that too, and he's not proud of it, but we do that. We evolve in our relationship. But after having a fight with my husband, when I used to parent my son, our son, I was a worse parent. I was very bad. So when we feel that harmony in us, within us, in our heart, then we can activate the better version of ourselves to our kids. But if you are angry, if you're not talking to your husband or your wife, and if you are in that argument zone and then you parent your child, it's going to be a very different energy that your child can sense. So that was my point. Out of this discussion today, give me one thing that you would do, you would actually do, not just listen to me, that you will start doing from today. What is that one thing that you take away from this today? Put it in the community. I would love to know. Because, it's not just me sharing, it's me learning, because your comments, your questions help me a lot. Not just me, but all of us who are reading community, we help each other. And that's how we grow and evolve every day. Thank you.